Doctor Who: The Claws of Axons, the seventh story of the Third Doctor, is written by Bob Baker and Dave Martin and starring Jon Pertwee, Katie Manning, Nicholas Courtney, Richard Franklin and John Levine. So in the late 1969, Terrance Dicks contacted Bob Baker and Dave Martin to write a story. So after reading the script, they sent it in BBC for another production. This was going to be 7-parter, then 6, but the storylines weren't suitable for the story, which is why it's 4. It was originally going to set in Kentrell, London, with Battersea Power Station taking the place of Newton Power Complex, but they decided to do outside London and landmarks and many scenes set in space because of the budget. So the title was going to be Doctor Who and the Gift, The Friendly Invasion, The Axons and The Vampire from Space, but obviously got changed to The Claws of Axons. So the story starts with UNIT radar picking up signals of Axon's spaceship coming to Earth. This is a great opening of Axon. Mr. Chin is there to monitor UNIT as a Minister of Defence, so Joe arrives with Bill Filer, who's there to find the Master. The Doctor gets frustrated and wishing he gets away from Earth, so then UNIT has found out about the Axon spaceship arrived on Earth. A poor guy riding on a bike gets attacked by a bright light and then grabs by a tentacle. I thought it looked pretty effective, so Bill goes to investigate as Axons are scanning on human intelligence. So the Doctor, Brigadier Mr. Chin and Sir George Hardiman went to Axon's spaceship that's landed in the field. Sergeant Benton has found a dead tramp and reported to Mike Yates, and his corpse seems like he's aged to death, and it's horrifying after his body decomposed quickly. So Joe sneaks into the ship. The Doctor, Brigadier Mr. Chin and Sir George made a contact with Axons. Bill is tied up in the area where the Master is. Joe sees a red Axon appeared after she heard Bill's voice, so everyone found Joe in the ship, and there's Bill shooting those tentacles off him and the Master, so they try to make a break for it. So after the conversation with the Axons, and the Doctor tries to get Joe to accept that Bill is dead, a lot of units are arrested by Mr. Chin, and so is the Brigadier, and Bill and the Master get abducted by Axons again. They duplicated Bill. As the Doctor is in the lab, the clone Bill tried to bring him to Axons, so the real Bill escaped and has a fight with his duplicate, which is an awesome scene. So the clone falls into the light accelerator and he got disintegrated. So after the Master hypnotized the unit soldier, he sneaks into Unit HQ. It's so intense that the Doctor, Joe and Bill get surrounded by Axons, the red versions. Jon Pertwee is fantastic as the Third Doctor. I do like Katie Manning as Jo Grant, she's independent. Nicholas Courtney, John Levine and Richard Franklin are great as unit team. Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart, Sergeant Benson and Captain Mike Yates. Roger Delgado as the Master is brilliant as the villain. What can I say that hasn't been said already? Paul Grist played Bill Filer, an American unit agent, is there to capture the Master, and I really do like that character. They should bring him back as a retired unit agent, discussing his advice of capturing the Master. Peter Bathurst played Horatio Chin, a Minister of Defence who's there to monitor UNIT, as I said. Donald Hewlett played George Hardiman, who's the head of the Newton Power Complex. Tim Pigott-Smith played Captain Harker, a British Army officer. Axos, also known as Axons or Axonite, are the chameleon type races. They're there to drain the energy from Earth and feast anywhere in space and time. I love these creatures, they're pretty cool. They definitely 100% should bring them back. The design is incredible for low budget. It actually does look a bit like Carnage, Spider-Man's enemy, which is cool. Dudley Simpson again does a fantastic scores. As the Doctor, Joe and Bill get surrounded by Axon creatures, Bill gets attacked, and after they turn back into gold form, the Doctor and Joe gets taken to Axon ship. So Brigadier knocks Captain down on the ground. Unit soldiers arrive in the lab. Axons explain to the Doctor about their plans. The Master got the unit soldiers to bring the TARDIS, so he went inside and realises the Doctor has done a lot of wiring and trying to escape. This is the first time you see inside the TARDIS in Jon Pertwee's era, so Bill recovers and wants his clothes back. Brigadier chases after an Axon who's turning red. The battle scene with Axons and unit soldiers is great. So Brigadier, Sergeant Benson and Mike Yates have caught the Master walking out the TARDIS, so they held him at gunpoint. The Master, like I said, wanted to escape, but he makes a deal with Brigadier that if he lets him go, he will stop the Axon spaceship. So they did. We get an intense cliffhanger when the Doctor and Joe are escaping from Axons and the Master blowing the ship up. We get a cool and intense scene when the Doctor and Joe goes through the illusions in the corridor and eventually escapes.
Don't let it get a trip on your brain! Don't let it grip your brain! 3 sevens! 21!
Apparently the Axonites have reversed the power flow and are feeding it all to block into the light accelerator. So the Master tries to escape, but the Doctor and Joe have arrived just in time to trap the Master. However, the Doctor needed the Master's help. It was a sad moment when the Doctor decided to leave Earth with the Master because they're both Time Lords. So they went in their TARDIS and dematerialized and ended up in Time Loop. The battle scenes are fantastic. So after the Axon ship destroyed, Master in the TARDIS and the Doctor in his TARDIS, there's Axon leaning on the Doctor, so he managed to break free from Time Loop. All Axons on Earth disappeared and the Doctor arrived back on Earth explaining what happened. And no, what the Doctor does to the TARDIS, the Time Lords return him to Earth. So, that's the claws of Axons and I love it. What did you think of this story? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks as always for watching and see you in the next video.